Oh shit. Oh no, we live, but we not. We
Intro,
live,
bro.
but we not. Nope.
All right.
Get your buck. Hit it.
I'm gonna hit it.
Now. Go. Do it.
Chops.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey, chopping it up from the Cabinet Creations, Custom Cabinet Creations Sports Desk right here. You can check those guys out. All the links to all these sponsors are actually in our description, so if you want to go check those guys out, be sure to do so. I want to welcome you back. Welcome you back. How was your weekend? I guess you can say welcome back.
Was I not here Friday?
I mean, you don't answer my text, so it's like
Was I not here Friday?
You were here Friday.
All right, so then yeah, I just had to think about that for a second because, you know, largely absent-minded for the past couple of days. I didn't answer anybody's text. I just said work, and Jimmy's pissed at me because I didn't answer him.
Yeah. Oh,
I actually did answer him. I said, I get out of work at 6:30. I'll call.
I was
you.
trying to follow up with Jimmy throughout the course of the weekend with any Rutgers players that were getting drafted, and all of a sudden, you know, Jimmy being Jimmy came back and he was like, "Well, yeah, they're just practice squad guys at best, and then they get cut." Like, all right, cool, Jimmy. I guess you don't give a flying shit.
I got like small excerpts of like Phil Mushnick's latest article talking shit about the draft sent to me. Jimmy, I don't agree with anything Phil Mushnick has said, nor have I read the newspaper in the last 20 years. So,
But
no
you
more
gotta
Phil-
check
no
out.
more Phil Mushnick
You should get the
articles.
post delivered to the
What was I
studio.
going to say though? I had a good thing to say.
I'm sure you got a lot of good things to say. So
I do.
welcome everybody.
Good morning,
we hope
Mark from Canada.
Canada. There's no time difference over there, right?
Canada.
It depends on where you are
Toronto-
in Canada?
well, Dave, let's just think about this for a second.
Geographically, I have no
So
idea.
if you are on the east coast of Canada,
You're on the
right
East
above
Coast.
Niagara Falls, there is no time difference. But if you're in, let's say, Vancouver,
Where is this guy? I don't know. Do you know? Do you know?
Montreal?
Do you know, Mark? Anyway, welcome everybody to the show. I hope you guys had a great weekend. To support Chop Sports, do yourselves a favor. Head on over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. Way to put the graphic up on cue on point. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the way we are right now is we're back to grassroots. It is literally just Sturch and Gooch. There's no producer. There's no Rob. There's no Dina. There's no anybody. There's no intern. There's no nobody. We're running the show by ourselves, and I don't know if we can do it anymore. Honestly, I don't know how hard this is going to be, but let's just roll.
Everything is making me nervous about this. I don't know if it's the graphics on StreamYard or if it's the graphics in my head.
What are you talking about there?
I don't see any images on anybody, but
no, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're all watching on YouTube.
Question?
I don't know. Are we going to be able to do this ourselves?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
Absolutely.
Patreon.com.
Patreon is up. I did a good job.
Yeah, no, you did a great job there. Patreon.com /Chop Sports. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please be sure, please, por favor. It helps us dramatically to like the video and share it. Today, I want to put you guys on a homework assignment right now as you're watching this. I want you guys to share this video to the masses. Hey, this is what I watch every day at 11 o'clock. You might like them, you might not. Just try. Just try to do that. For me, that would help us out tremendously. Dat Chat. Be sure to check out one of our newest affiliates for the last couple months now. A new social media. The draft coverage was there. There was plenty of stuff. To do over at Dat Chat. Go check them out. They're on iTunes. What is it? They're on the App Store and they're on Google Play. So you can go check those guys out. Our buddy Glenn over there. We're going to get into a lot of stuff today. Obviously, the NFL draft comes and goes. We already covered the first round because we were there for Thursday to watch that one. So obviously, rounds 2 through 7, we'll get into some of the winners and losers. NBA playoffs continue. We'll get into that in a little bit. The Yankees and the Mets. Oh boy, 1 month in, let's all pump the brakes. Let's not get too crazy. But the Yankees and the Mets, all of a sudden, they're doing wonders over there. Plus, I don't know if you know this, but tonight, the potential three-peat journey begins for Gooch's Tampa Bay Lightning. So they're going to try to go for 3 in a row. The Rangers start tomorrow night against the Penguins. Be sure to tune into that because I'm pumped. If anybody wants to go out for the game, let me know.
A three-peat in any sport.
The Bulls or no?
Is that really how long it's
I don't know. Did they ever three-peat? Or did they 5-peat? Or I
don't think they 5-peat. I think they had 2 separate 3-peats.
Yeah.
Because it was 3 in a row. Then
92,
Jordan
93,
left.
94. Then Bulls leave.
Yeah.
Then 96, 97, 98, 99. All right, whatever. DFA. Oh boy. Well, that's good. There's a little bit of a breaking news thing for the Mets as Robinson Cano has been designated for assignment. So the Yankees are going to come calling for Robinson Cano to be their new DH. I'm kidding. He's batting piss poor. He's on my fantasy team, fantasy bench. I would take a flyer.
Cano
I would take a flyer on Cano.
Off the bench right now.
Listen, has he fallen off the face of the earth? Maybe.
Well, look,
I don't know.
Look, we need the version of Cano that's like the version of A-Rod.
I don't think you're going to get that
career. No, I'm talking about one thing and one thing only. Are you willing to risk it all one last time?
Risk it for
and get
biz.
back on the steroids and learn how to hit a baseball again? If so, take your steroids. Then you could join the Yankees. I have no issues with it.
And there it is.
But I'm all about the cheating. We all know this.
I'm with it. So anyway, over the weekend on Friday, I decided to tell this country and their gas prices to go F themselves. You see the picture at least of my new ride?
Yes.
You like it?
I didn't like it. I didn't give my obligatory like.
You didn't.
I'm terrible.
You're awful.
I'm terrible.
Like life events happen. Like Miles is 6 months today. Say happy birthday, Miles. Happy half birthday,
see,
Miles.
this I'm gonna have to dispute.
6 months is big.
A parental thing, and like, see, I guess it's like I don't know that you say happy birthday.
No, you don't. You say happy 6 months.
Happy 6 months, Miles.
There you go, dude.
Congrats,
I know
Dave.
you're watching. I know you're listening.
I threw the obligatory like. I had to have on something over the weekend.
The obligatory. So you actually don't like it. You just like, oh,
does
damn,
anybody?
I do this shit.
I feel like obligatory likes are, I see there's no way anyone likes that many things. Like I like
a lot.
I don't like.
I like a lot. I'm on the people.
I like
this kind of shit on social media to like it.
I like the Packers draft. I know Rube is probably going to talk shit about it.
Oh, I'm sure he will. But yeah. So anyway, that's my biggest news right now.
Anybody like my my nasally voice today?
Allergies are
I know it's like pouring rain today.
Doesn't matter.
I can't fucking breathe.
You know that I made the age-old mistake again. I went from a black truck to a black SUV, and it's pollen season. Like it looked so beautiful when I first got it. Brought it home, had it in the driveway, looked gorgeous, and then like 30 minutes later, I go outside, it's green. I'm like this is so dumb of me to do that. 6 months till I get another little.
Congrats to Scoop on his.
We did say that already.
Announcement. We did that on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then Scoop, shut the fuck up, dude. Why are you trying to steal Dave's thunder?
Stop stealing Miles' spotlight, bro.
That's fucked up. Also, Scoop,
you?
I'll talk to you about the fantasy baseball situation after the show. And
I play the Rockford Peaches this week.
I'm also a little upset with
down.
Payne because Payne doesn't accept
Payne.
invites, so he lost his opportunity now because cousin Vinny now.
So
took
all
the
right.
opportunity.
So
if Dina, if you're watching the show from the other room.
Here's your announcement.
You have Vinny now is like kind of teamed up onto your side of the team, and Scoop wants me to delete Dina off the team altogether. But the problem there is that's not going down.
No, we're not doing that.
It's a paid-for team.
Why would Scoop say that publicly?
In over her head with this version of fantasy baseball, so she's going to sit there and co-pilot this.
She's going to be the bench coach.
Vinny, you don't have to spend any money. You shut the fuck up and you set this lineup. I'll give you all the tips.
You know what's funny?
Need.
You're going in on this and you're playing them this week.
Yeah, bro. Like.
So you want to earn this one.
It's all about league integrity with me. I do not like to have dead teams in fantasy baseball. If I notice a couple things like 2 weeks in a row where there's some poor lineup moves or lack of a lineup move at all, for that matter, then yeah, I will have somebody step in and figure
there
it
are
out.
a couple almost dead teams in our league. Carl being one of them.
The Sauce.
Girth Brooks. The Sauce is one of them. 0-3. I dropped one to probably the best team in the league, I think, and that's Ashley Schaefer, BMW. That's Scoop's boy, but. We'll see. There still is another undefeated team, technically, because you tied and kissed your sister on that one. Just horrible.
Let's just be real about it. I tied, but nobody else besides the person that I played that week would have beaten me. We tied for high week, so I've been in the top 2 in high week every single week. So.
Yeah, shout out to the Braves, by the way, for deciding to shift Fried's start to tonight against the Mets rather than have him start his normal start on Sunday. Screwed me up, and I lost.
Nope, you lost anyway. If Max Fried would have had a perfect game, you might have won, but you lost by a decent number.
Oh, well, I lost by a nice chunk.
You're better off getting Fried start on Monday.
Let's go.
Anyway, we'll
get into
all kinds of rules right now.
We'll get into all of some fantasy talk later on because we're going to be talking about the first month in baseball. But first and foremost, I want to give a special shout out, which is 2 S's and H's. Special shout out to Mike Tverdov. You weathered the storm of the draft. The draft is a grind, bro. It comes and goes. We all expected maybe 5th, 6th, 7th round. Then the unrestricted free agent period happens where it's just a frenzy. I was told, and I'll just tell you right now, he was contacted by the Lions, the Dolphins, and the Jets throughout the draft process, and he winds up with an invite to go to the Miami Dolphins minicamp to try to see if he can make the team. So shout out to Tverdoff from Rutgers, our guy, our chop athlete. Kill it, man. Keep continuing the grind.
If there's a place that I'm going to go and work out and try out for
Miami.
A couple weeks, it's South Beach.
I'm looking at the Miami depth chart right. Did it before. They have 12 defensive linemen, including 4 guys they sign in the unrestricted free agency or undrafted free agency period. So look, there's going to be a competition down there for Tverdoff. I think he's added size. He's added speed. His cone drills were amazing. So he has a chance. So go kick some ass. So anyway, the NFL draft. All right, comes and goes. Okay, and again, we talked a lot about the first round on whatchamacall. You got it on which.
Yep.
As we produce our own show. We talked about the first round on Friday's show because obviously it went down on Thursday night, but it's not now time to kind of pick some winners and losers. And, this is more of an authentic, perception or perspective, have you, of the NFL draft because of the fact that, Mel Kiper's of the world. It's funny. He predicts certain things and then they happen and then he shits on it in the grade. It's like, well, you said that this was going to happen. And I'm talking specifically about the Cowboys and some of their picks. Because remember, I was hell-bent on Thursday night. Nobody wanted to lock eyes with me on Thursday night based off
I was actually
Cowboys.
Trying to because it was hilarious.
I mean,
honestly, in the end of the day, you didn't know if the pick was going to be good or bad. I'm looking at it. I was like, they got a tackle. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I mean,
position is all that I look at.
They did address plenty of positions of needs. I'm not going to go into the Cowboys draft. In fact, if you want to do that, you can download the New Jersey Boys podcast, which is available on this network. It's available right now. Myself, Brett Ernst, and Keith Ernst break down the entire draft. A little bit of an edgier podcast this week. So if you're a little bit of weak of the heart as far as, can't take any bad words, I guess you could say, don't listen. But if you want a cleaner version, you can head on over to Blogging the Boys. I did my podcast with my guys, Tony and Aiden. We broke down the draft as well. I literally did 2 podcasts, same material yesterday. It was mind numbing. Like I had to do the draft, grade every pick. Then I did it again, but I put an edgier spin on the Jersey Boys where if I wanted to talk some shit, I could talk some shit. It's just like a different dynamic with the two of them. But anyway, winners and losers. So plenty of representation in the chat right now. I know Scoop's a Jaguars fan. Mark is a Bears fan. James Rube is a Bears fan. So 2 Bears fans in here. Ken Paulman's also in here. He's a Steelers fan. I'm sure he's happy. I did write them down as one of my winners. But I want to start with, obviously, I guess I'll just start with the Jets, considering the fact that we talked about the Jets already. I've considered them a winner of this draft. Obviously, everybody knew about the first round. It was Sauce Gardner. It was Garrett Wilson. It was Jermaine Johnson. Bang. They nailed it out the park. But then for them to grab Breece Hall, which I thought was the best running back in this draft, in the second round early, the only question mark I have is, you do have Michael Carter. Like, are you going to go two-headed monster here? Same, very similar running backs.
Of course. They're definitely going to be going two-headed monster. There's always a need and a demand for running backs. You get the most talented back in the draft, arguably the most talented back 2 years in a row. We have no idea how Carter's going to play out. I think Najee Harris is clearly 1A in that draft, and I think Javonte Williams is like 1B. Yeah. But Michael Carter was really good, and in this class, Bryce Hall. I always get his name.
Breece.
Yeah,
Breece.
Breece Hall. Is there a Bryce Hall that plays college basketball?
Maybe. But I'm looking at also another steal of a pick was Jeremy Rucker, the tight end out of Ohio State. You pair him up with a CJ Azuma, all of a sudden you have yourselves a 2 tight end set. And I think, and that was a guy, Rucker was a guy I was coveting as a Cowboy fan later on in the draft when I'm like, all right, it's time for the linebacker. I mean, it's time for the tight end now. And it never came to fruition. So, be that as it may, it is what it is. But the Jets, I think, had a great draft. As far as continuing on the winners side of this, I wrote down the Ravens. I thought the Ravens had a phenomenal draft. You disagree here.
I disagree.
But just to recap, they do take Hamilton as their first pick. It's the best safety in the draft. And then Tyler Lindenbaum fell to them when the Cowboys decided not to draft him. And then after that, they took the gamble and took Ajabo, the kid who lost his Achilles in his last effort, his last play of his pro day. He tears his Achilles. Not the funny, but like the the coincidence or the kind of funny part about this is he's going from one Harbaugh to another Harbaugh as he was drafted by the Ravens. So I guess Jim went to little bro, big bro, I don't know who's older, and said, look, once this guy
Jim is older.
Jim is probably older. Once this guy gets right, you're going to get a steal. Take him now. So they do that, and they bring him in. I know they lost Hollywood Johnson. Brown. Why Hollywood Johnson? Anyway, Hollywood Brown. They lose him in a trade to the Cardinals, and they didn't really address the wide receiver. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. But as far as the draft goes, I think it's an A. I don't know. And you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree because you trade away a receiver and you don't get another receiver. They also lost Sammy Watkins in the offseason. So it's not like they have nothing now. Who's their number one? Rashad Bateman. We fully expected them, especially they had a decent amount of picks on day 2 to at least pick up a wide receiver to kind of take some of the load off of Rashad Bateman, who only played in about 10 games last season anyway. Who's going to catch the ball besides Mark Andrews?
Well,
they drafted
2 tight ends. Isaiah Likely in the 4th round, which was very good.
We're talking about the Ravens. I might as well bring it up now. But when Lamar Jackson tweeted, "What the fuck," maybe he should have asked Hollywood Brown what the fuck, because Hollywood Brown was supposedly demanding
asking for the trade,
so
right?
He wanted out apparently because the system in Baltimore was not favoring a wide receiver,
aka I need a real quarterback to throw me the ball because Lamar Jackson is not it.
Too conservative was the words that were used by Hollywood Brown's agent. So,
yeah,
just having no one to catch the ball. The AFC is stacked, man. You're going to have to score some points. I understand that they have a good defense. They improved their defense maybe a little bit, but they're not all world.
You're not sold on Hamilton as the best safety in the draft? Or?
I'm not. I'm actually, if we're talking safeties and we're talking good drafts, I think, as shitty as this is to admit, I think the Vikings cleaned up in the draft because they were able to move down and get what they needed to get.
Moved down a couple times,
traded with Green Bay. Now it might have worked out for the Packers that they were able to move up and get a guy that I think they may have reached on. I think the pick itself was the right spot, but trading up 2 second-round picks to get up to that spot, I think that might have been a mistake. There was other guys that I also liked at the wide receiver position, but we'll see.
Stevie Mack, 23, coming in saying, I have a feeling the Ravens go after Jarvis Landry. Not a bad fit.
I have a feeling that every single team that missed out on wideouts in this draft, Packers included, should be in on the conversation with Jarvis Landry.
And Julio Jones still out there.
I'm good on Julio.
No?
Yeah, just
I'd
rather have Odell Beckham. I'd rather have Odell than Julio.
Oh, glad you brought up Beckham real quick for the
troll jobs.
The what the fuck moment of the weekend. You're such a clown, man. Like you were just starting to make me like you a little bit as far as like the personality on and off the field. I was like, you know what? He's actually kind of maturing a little bit. And then the moment the draft hits and Brock Purdy was selected by the 49ers as Mr. Irrelevant, Odell Beckham says, how can I get people talking about me? He literally puts out a tweet that says that Debo was traded to the Patriots, right? And immediately, cold water by our boy Rappaport. Palisaro said, no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Debo was like, what the fuck? I feel bad.
Bro's bored.
I feel bad. Right. I feel bad for Debo on that regard because there's no reason for that. And of course, Odell came out later and said, I'm sorry. I was just bored. I was just talking shit. But like Debo's mentions blow the hell up again. You know what I mean? Like the kid finally, we're starting to make peace with the fact that Debo wasn't going anywhere. You know what I mean? So like shut your mouth, Odell.
Debo's dug in. He's saying that he doesn't care if it takes all off season or even into next season. He's dug in. He's not playing for the 49ers again. I think.
When was this? That was said
right after. It's not a quote from Debo saying it's very similar to the Aaron Rodgers situation, but according to people close to Debo, he is dug in and he doesn't give a shit that they didn't trade him. Now, after the draft, he realizes that a lot of the teams that needed wide receiver help addressed the need. So there's like a smaller market for him, but he doesn't care. He's not going to just buckle because they didn't trade him on draft day. And the Jets apparently made the move. They did offer the 10.
Offered.
There was a bunch of offers for Debo. The 49ers just didn't budge.
I wonder if that's if Debo kind of forces the hand of 49ers. You know what I mean? We'll see. Chris Payne, good morning, sir. He says the Giants will wind up with Baker Mayfield. Well, we'll talk about the Giants in a second because they are still one of my winners in the first round. And then after that, I felt like Dave Gettleman was back running the team because they do hit on the first 2 picks. We all know about that. But then Wan'Dale Robinson in the second round, while good, definitely more guys left on the board. The Giants might have swung and missed there. And again, they don't address the quarterback position at all, which again, fine, because I kind of thought that as the draft got longer and as we were seeing Malik Willis trickle into the third round, I was like, wow, the Giants are going to wind up with like Willis to back him up and be the quarterback of the future. And they didn't take a draft. They didn't take a flyer on him at all. Yeah. Tennessee winds up doing it, which probably leads to the end of Ryan Tannehill eventually, or maybe they just kind of see the writing on the wall that he can't get over the hump, right?
I mean, Malik Willis is a little bit away. He's a third-round pick.
Correct. So again, the Giants, it wouldn't shock me to have Baker Mayfield over there. I don't know what it's going to take.
If I'm going after Baker, I'm just going after Jimmy G. It's like the exact same type of player, but one guy is humble and one guy sucks at life.
At life.
They both kind of suck at football. But Jimmy G's at least a proven winner. I'm not going with Baker when Jimmy G's out there. But the 49ers might demand more. I feel like they still hold some value on Jimmy G's name.
And the 49ers didn't even have
value shit.
I think they had like 4 picks total, the Niners. Like they didn't have a lot of draft capital. So for them, they can acquire this for next year if they dish off a Debo and a Jimmy G. And the landscape of San Francisco could be completely different in like, I don't know, a month from now. Who knows? Because mini camps are already starting in the middle of May. So you only have like 2 weeks to start really solidifying your roster and seeing who's going to make the team and who's not. Unfortunately, the Eagles also on my winners list. They land A.J. Brown in the first day. Great. Then they draft Jordan Davis, even a better situation. But in that third round, man, I was banging on the desk at home. I was like, please, Dallas, just take the shot on the Kobe Dean. And they didn't. And the Eagles do. According to all what I've read, he has a torn pec that he's not going to get repaired until next year. So the fact that he's playing with a torn pec or potentially not playing, I don't know what the deal is, but Dean is a stud linebacker. He was probably one of the better, if not the team leader on that Georgia defense, and he goes to Philadelphia, which, again, that just makes me sick. So I don't know. Would you have taken the risk if given the opportunity? Obviously, you guys drafted 19 fucking Georgia defenders anyway.
I would have taken – put it this way, not after we took Quay Walker. At that point, you're not going to take another middle linebacker when we have an all-pro sitting at the other side. So, no. But, yeah, I thought it was a good pick for Philly. Any team in that spot, this is what happens. You have teams that run from a guy for a round or two because of an injury, and that's what was happening. Teams were running from Kobe Dean until you hit around a certain point where every single team that was running from him is now lining up, running towards him. I'm surprised Dallas didn't make that move, especially with Jerry Jones' propensity to draft like a guy but they did end up getting a guy in that pick that I think is going to potentially be a star in the league too. Maybe a day one starter.
You talking about the receiver?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got to interview him, which was actually pretty badass. He came on, he was drafted by the Cowboys.
No, I say star. I mean,
Jalen Tolbert was drafted in the third round by Dallas, receiver. Very humble kid. Found out he's a Yankee fan. That was my question to him. Like, of all the questions you could possibly ask him, and you have that 3 seconds of fame to talk to him, I'm like, yo, did you like the Cowboys growing up? And he's like, bro, I didn't like football until 11th grade. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, I'm more of a baseball guy. The Yankees were my squad. I'm like, okay, now we're talking. But anyway, staying on the winners, the Panthers. They drafted Ikem in the first round, one of the best tackles in football, and then they wait and they wait and they wait, and they wind up with Matt Corral. I don't know if this kid's gonna pan out. I don't know why he slipped to the third round. Clearly, there's tape on him where he's not first round talent. However, they got their guy without having to trade anybody. So now it's Corral, Sam Darnold. So it's like pick your poison at this point. Is Corral better than Sam Darnold right now? I don't know. Probably not, I would say, but because he's not as polished, a little raw.
Sam Darnold won 3 games in the beginning of the year last year while he was not hurt, and he looked
lost to the Cowboys though.
But Sam Corral doesn't he have tiny hands too? That's what I'm going to say about every rookie.
Matt Corral. You actually combine the 2 players.
It's perfect.
One guy.
They are the same person now.
So my last winner of this are the Steelers because of the fact that they landed Kenny Pickett. They also land Pickens. Which that offense now, that was your guy that you talked about last week. I saw a tweet come out from one of the accounts I follow that follow the Cowboys. And the tweet said, this is why you don't draft Pickens. And it was just like a highlight reel of him just starting shit on the field, just mauling over dudes. And I'm like, not for nothing, but like, I like that.
Why you do draft.
Right. I like that in a receiver, a guy that will fucking, just completely tear the roof off of anybody. He literally called somebody out. Like, you've probably seen the highlight. He looked at that guy. He goes like this. And he goes like, shush, shush.
Yeah, that was the Michigan.
Yeah, snap, and then he just flattens the guy. Flattens him.
Well, that's what happens. You had the whole sideline talking shit. This was with a play that made me want him.
Right.
It's like you got this whole sideline talking shit, and he puts a hat on a hat, bodies the DB that was trying to, I don't know, cover him, but really in this
James
league,
Rube
was
coming back
tackle.
in saying Sam Howell is the best quarterback in this draft. Pickett is effing awful. Again, I don't agree with the awful take. I hope that Sam Howell does not play out. He was taken by the Washington Commanders. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Actually,
I have no idea.
Shit, was he? I think he was. Commanders had themselves a sneaky okay draft too. My losers, I only have 2 written down. Rube's not going to really like this. The Bears are one of my losers in this draft because of the fact that you lose A-Rob. You do nothing to address the receiver until the 3rd round. 2 defensive picks. It's almost as if they don't want their quarterback to succeed over there. I don't know. Like, you need that young quarterback to have a stud. You get rid of your only stud and you do nothing to replace him. And you draft a corner and a safety and all that. And listen, I get it. Defense, great. You know, you gotta play defense. But like in this regard, if you want Justin Fields to progress and get better and, you know, over the years, you gotta address that.
Yeah, I mean, Rube is definitely being honest about what he thought of the Bears draft.
He said the
when
Bears
you assess
draft
the Bears
sucked.
draft this year, you have to assess Justin Fields because that's basically their last 2 drafts are equaling him.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works out, but I'm not a big believer in Justin Fields.
Yeah. Let's see. Austin is Tyreek 2. So I don't know who he's talking about there, but whatever. Hello, Ashley. Good morning. I hope she's things are happening over there as far as any progress on that sitch. Or
Yes.
yeah. All right.
Yes.
Talk to me off air. Good. Glad. I'm also gonna say the Patriots are maybe the biggest losers in this draft.
Bro, the memes going out around Bill Belichick's draft.
Dude, first of all, quarterback in the 4th. Okay. 2 corners from in the 3rd and the 4th. 2nd round receiver Tyquan Thornton. He's drafted 2 running backs in this draft. It's almost as if he just didn't know what the needs were with the Patriots. Like, look, they're a playoff team last year. Obviously, we all saw the out of control. Just nobody really expected the Patriots to do what they did last year with a rookie quarterback. But man, oh man, I think Bill's lost it a little bit. I don't know about this draft. I look at it up and down. I'm like, you didn't draft anything you actually needed. It's weird. It's very weird. I don't know, man.
I was looking for the memes because Black Adam Schefter
Yeah.
or Ghetto Gronk, one of the 2?
Pick your poison.
Bro.
They're both great.
There's like there's 10 of them. Just go find it. Hilarious content. I'm going to fucking find it.
Go ahead, find it. Because Payne's coming in saying the Patriots are the biggest losers of all time, regardless of their wins and losses. And they have Mac Jones. And, so he's not obviously there. Kenny Pickett, Ken Paulman's coming in. Kenny Pickett sucks. Relax. That's going to start a fight. So have at it. I don't think the Bears want to succeed, according to Sam Grasso. I'm with that too. I don't know. They had a weird draft, man. And again,
it was the video of the guy calling the draft pick and handing the phone to Bill Belichick, and then they zoom in on the executive's face. I'm not going to pull it up on the TV. Bro, you see the look.
Go to
of
Ghetto
disgust.
Gronk on Instagram. There's the look of disgust and despair out of the GM. I guess that's the GM, or I think Belichick's the GM, right? Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think he's lost a little bit over the time, but he's still the greatest coach ever. But I think it's just
fast forward to like week 12 of this year, where the Patriots are like a win away from securing the 1 seed.
Jimmy Palumbo coming in, getting involved today in the show. Can't count out Bill. You really can't. Like, as much as I think he's losing it a little bit, I do think that, come December, we're going to be like, the Patriots are only win away from being tied for first in the AFC East. It's always the case.
Didn't they draft a quarterback, though?
They did.
The guy that looks exactly like Mac Jones.
I think it's something Hayes. He has some decent tape. I looked him up.
Mac Jones going to lose his job.
Mac Jones already with a quarterback competition in year 2. That's not what you said. Listen, there's a camera in front of me, and then there's a screen in front of me, and I don't have the stream in front of me. So if I misplace one word, go after yourself, Payne. I'm well aware. By the way, my nephew went to a birthday party yesterday at DJ Make Me Fit, or DJ Get Me Fit, or whatever the fuck it's called in Madeline. And I literally responded to the family group chat. I'm like, oh, my buddy Payne just had his 40th birthday in a Star Wars theme where everybody had lightsabers and neon lights and streamers and all this other shit. Oh man. So the NFL draft comes and goes. Obviously, yes. By the way, the Jaguars drafted a running back. So you're looking like Scoop texted me as soon as it happened. He's like, why? They got Etienne. They got a million people out there. Oh my God. What does that say? I can't believe what? As far as the Giants, the Knicks are what?
Going to let Thibs play for the Giants or something. I guess they drafted a Thibodeau.
Yeah, Kayvon, the number 1 pick. He should. He should play power forward at this point.
Jimmy, don't use that joke in your set.
Speaking of sets, I see you you sold out completely. You sold your soul to the devil as you decide to pair up with Joe Matarese. Anyway, it's time to get into some of these sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I don't have the fucking Fusco read. Man, what did I say as soon as we started the show? I said I'm forgetting something. It's on my desk. But here we go. It is the Fusco Agency. Don't even worry about it. Don't even run out. The Insurance, Retirement, Wealth Planning, FuscoInsuranceAgency.com. Our boy Michael Fusco, who said he's been very busy. And of course, watch this be the show that he does watch today. And he realizes that I completely screw up his read. But listen, go check him out. He's a very good dude. Obviously, which we'll call tax preparation is already done, but he can help you out with insurance, retirement, especially. I do ask you questions all the time about your retirement, Gooch, about if you're okay or you're set. Are you worried about it? Well, guess what? This guy's going to set you up. He's got it all. So get on over to FuscoInsuranceAgency.com. Tell him Chop Sports sent you, and that's that. So now we move on to a brand new read out of the Manscaped because it's a brand new month, and we're talking about the Ultra Smooth Package. Take it away, Gooch.
All right, attention, boys. Are you ready to get blown? ... away? Question mark.
Did that question mark? I like it.
Woo, 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 woo. Sirens alert. I'm reading this word for fucking word,
I
bro.
did not write this. This is their
you
read.
asked for it and they listen. Our friends at Manscaped just relaunched the Ultra Smooth Package. It's back, baby. So you guys asked for it and then we got it. Your new favorite tool to complement. Oh, God damn it. Your new favorite tool and complement to the Lawnmower 4.0 to keep your boys smooth while looking to get blown.
There you go.
This specialized groin shaving kit is there to help you buff, protect, and shave your most sensitive areas. It's time to crop that bush of yours. Look, we're not calling our pubes a bush. This is manhood.
This is Manscaped's read. He's reading it verbatim.
You're going to have to run it back on that one because I don't have a bush. I never had a bush in my entire life.
Never in my life did I say, like, this is getting a little bushy down here.
Bush. It's like that's definitely a female part. So it's time to crop out those pubes of yours and get it right down to the roots and discount God damn it. Just for you from Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping on Manscaped.com with the promo code CHOPSPORTS.
Is that it?
I think so.
I mean, it comes with a lot.
All right, look, I'm going to just keep on going.
It's got the crop exfoliator, the crop gel.
The legends, thank you. They're calling me a legend or themselves legends?
Probably us.
So the legends who introduced the electric ball hair trimmer are bringing back the razor so you can be set and trimmed from front to back. That's a lot of hair. So you no longer have to borrow your lady's razor for that. What?
Are you okay?
What?
Are you well?
Are they okay?
I don't know. They wrote it.
I'm reading what they wrote.
All right, we got to adjust it a little bit.
Go over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code CHOPSPORTS. Get this graphic down.
Shit.
All right, and then use the promo code CHOPSPORTS, 20% off.
Yeah,
I got to fix that.
Now we'll fix that up a little bit. But anybody that comes in the comments, they all they all appreciate a read from the Gooch, like from literally the Gooch and the Grundle. He comes over here and it's Tommy D. He says, I always seem to jump on when you're talking about a man's bush.
At the very beginning when they're like, are you guys ready to be blown
away?
Even though I put my own spin on that too.
Wait, you didn't read like that?
No, bro. It says, attention listeners, are you ready to be blown away?
The best part, sirens alert.
Woo, 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 woo. Like, do we actually have to add a fucking
I don't know,
drop?
but
We have to add a sirens drop?
Maybe we get a little creative with it because they want a siren and they're gonna get it. Goddamn, yeah,
you're needed.
Yes, we just need you to drive by.
We just do a commercial when he come up and he's like, it's Officer Payne. He's got the lawnmower 4.0 in his hand. Woo, woo, woo. He checks down your ass
for the butt crack snack. Oh boy. Snack. Anyway, so so that's that. We also want to give a special shout to our friends over at Lilac Sage Boutique. They're having a clearance sale right now. Mother's Day is literally next week. I always forget.
Sunday.
Oh my God. Well, they have very quick shipping. If you want to head on over to lilacsageboutique.com, go use them. 10% off Chop 10 at checkout. They're already doing a clearance sale. So if you add Chop 10 to that, my goodness, it's practically free.
I have actually a better idea. Go out there and buy your dad a lawnmower 4.0 for Mother's Day, so your mother doesn't have to deal with that. Painted that picture.
Like, I had to stop. Oh God. It's the last thing
In
in
case
the
she
world.
wants a nice butt crack snack
That's
for
the
Mother's
last
Day.
thing in the world that I ever want to think about. Ever. And you just put it in my mind like an asshole.
That.
Good Lord.
Happy Mother's Day.
SteveAsbarra.com. Go check him out as well. He is the guy that's responsible for ChopSportsMedia.com. So if you're interested and you need some New York, New Jersey web development, head on over to SteveAsbarra.com. Very affordable, very real, very authentic, very good dude. I talked to him. He said he was supposed to come out to the draft too, but I guess he never did. So another false promise. Anyway, you taking over the graphics there, Cheech?
I was in the comments.
I'm in the comments now too.
Right.
Manscaped followed by Lilac and Sage Boutique. Perfect combo.
We're going right into it.
NBA. Guess what? There's playoffs still happening, ladies and gents. The Bucks decide to take care of business and 101-89 win in game one of their series. Giannis, my God, again, 24, 13, and 12, a triple-double in the first game. Drew, spelt like a moron, goes for 25 points. Tatum, 21 points for the Celtics. Not enough, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I got to watch this game because I did not.
I watched some highlights, but the Bucks,
I was
the Bucks
tied up.
Seemed like they took what everybody was saying about the Celtics being anointed as the team to beat in the East. I was saying it. Right? Everybody was kind of saying it, and they took that personal. They went on the road and they beat the living shit out of the Boston Celtics. Like, that was an easy win. Giannis did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. The Celtics got to figure something out. What am I missing here?
Scoop with the stepbrother. I'm stuck. If you know, you know. You sick sons of bitches out there. Anyway, there we go. Forget, I'm an asshole. Johnine coming in before we get more into the Bucks game. Absolute Eyewear gift certificate for Mother's Day. If you go in there, I promoted them yesterday because it's sunglass season, folks. We're getting sunny out there, except for today because it's fucking Jersey, so of course it's miserable outside, and all my bones are aching.
Only I knew anybody that needed glasses.
Yeah, can you please just go in there and help your own cause, please, so you can see, at least put the contacts in or whatever. Absolute Eyewear, a big sponsor of ours. Be sure to go check those guys out right on Main Street next to the train station, as you're here every day in my read. I got to change that up too. Do you know I recorded that a long time ago?
I'm old now. It's like I'm not getting older. I'm officially fucking old.
Yeah, you know what? It's like, myself and Gooch are getting a little older, right? But now we're just old since then. So let's just change it up. Any haters out there watching the Yankees? I'm assuming that's old man.
Yeah.
Okay. How's his knee? Everybody doing all right?
He's doing better.
Good. All right. So back to the Bucks real quick. I didn't watch the game. You said, they kind of put themselves on notice as, hey, we're still here, by the way. We're the defending champions. So let me put the clamps down on the Celtics to hold a team to 89 points in the playoffs. Great defensive effort. You said it. Protect the rim. Giannis did it.
I mean, they didn't even the Celtics. I didn't look at the numbers of this game, but there was really no reason to it. Like I said, they beat the shit out of them up and down. The Celtics didn't hit shots. They didn't play good defense. They didn't rebound well. I think Mark Stevens even went into the locker room with 8 minutes to go in the fourth. So this is the head coach. I don't know if he came back out or not, but 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Mark Stevens definitely left the bench and went into the locker room. So, if LeBron did that, God.
I mean, some breaking news all over the place. But anyway, yeah, so that game comes and goes. Game one in the books. The Warriors jumped off to a 1-0 lead as they defeat Memphis 117-116. I'm kind of upset that I missed this game because considering they won by one, I'm assuming it was a lot better than
a very entertaining game.
Somebody freshen me up on this. Jordan Poole is a bench player.
Yes,
he scored 31 points and played 38 minutes. So he's not really a bench player. He's like a sixth man at Jace, and he's on the court all the time.
Yeah, he's the sixth man of the year.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, I
don't think he was actually. I don't know if he was for sure. But he should have been. He should have been the most improved player.
He had
over
himself
John
a day.
Morant. I don't know if he was. I'm positive that he wasn't.
Remember that time we started this podcast? We were unprepared for a second.
Don't you do a basketball podcast on our network? Could you fill me in what Jordan Poole was?
Jordan Poole is the best player, the best player on the team right now. Thanks for your opinion there, Scoop. How about
really
an actual?
He's lights out. Steph Curry, though, after the game, talking like he clamped somebody down. He clamped Ja down at the end of that game.
Yeah, Ja with 34 points. That was clamped.
No,
all clamps.
The last play of the game, Ja Morant had an opportunity to win it, and he didn't.
Ja Morant goes for 34. Jaren Jackson goes for 33. So,
the big story was
77 points.
Draymond getting ejected in the second quarter.
He went on record and said that he thought for sure that once you get to the NBA playoffs, that, the referees kind of lay off a little bit, right? And they just kind of let things kind of roll and let these guys play.
Said that?
Him.
Draymond?
Yes. After he said that
I
he
listened
said
to
he
part
said the
of his
regular
podcast.
season is a lot softer, and they said in the playoffs they would get a little harder.
He
here.
was saying, I think that
Pause.
you might have heard part of it, because what he really went on to say was, I've been suspended for a game 5 of the finals before, so I know for a fact that they would kick me out of this game. So he's saying that while it always does surprise him, he does know that the way the league handles him. Look, that was a terrible call. He fouled him. Maybe even want to call it a
scrape his
flagrant.
face or something.
No, but he dragged him down to the ground. But like as he was falling down, like he grabbed the guy's jersey. It was a little touchy. I would never eject somebody for that in the postseason.
He said it should have been a flagrant 1 at the least.
Yeah, it was a flagrant foul, but a flagrant 2 where you get booted.
Bye-bye. I mean, that's a little like NBA versus Draymond there. He has the MO to be a little bit of a dirtier player.
In this game, it was like the NBA versus Ja, because you got all the stars on Golden State, and then you have John Morant, who almost did it, but
that series is going to be great.
Quite.
That series is going to be great. And obviously tonight, Philly and Miami, Dallas. Do we have graphics for that? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. With spreads and all that good shit. So the Mavs and the Suns get off tonight. A over under of 215, great number. Love you, Graham. And then it looks like the Suns. That's 10 o'clock. So this will be the later game. Suns and Dallas. Let's go Dallas. Suns are favored by
5.
Say 5. Okay, 5. This was obviously starting in Phoenix, so I'm assuming that's why. But listen, I don't know what the sauce is going to do, and I think did you see the apology video on Instagram?
Yeah, the Sauce had himself a weekend in Vegas.
So he didn't have like his analytics in front of him. He was basically picking off his heart, I guess. But look, that can happen. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to bet with your heart sometimes and just have a feeling. So anyway, Sauce didn't have a great weekend, obviously, as far as the gambling numbers are concerned. But if I'm him right now, I'm not an expert on this, but 5 is a big number for a guy, for a Luka-led Dallas team to lose by. I'm with the +5. Give me the +5 all day. I don't know what everybody else is going to do, but that's where I'm feeling about this one.
I don't know. I feel like very similar to. I feel like the Suns are going to beat up on them. They're the other team, the Western Conference defending champs. The Mavericks, they played well. There's some history between Bridges and the rookie. Was it Brunson? Brent Brunson. They played together in college, and they're talking shit on Instagram already and Twitter. So it should be a fun series. I think the Suns are a far better team. I know Luka's Luka, but the Suns.
Did you see the Suns caught a little bit of a fine ski about not reporting the correct injury status for Booker?
That's fine.
I'm just saying, like, are they pulling a Patriots and they're just trying to, pull it off? Or like, oh, by the way, Booker's playing, tip off.
That's all.
I guess you're not allowed to do that.
Maybe more teams should do that and be.
Well, you're not.
There's
rules against.
Who gives a shit? There's a fine. You could maybe possibly get an edge, and you get fined. You're a billionaire. Find me.
Anyway, enthusiastic NBA coverage here, Jimmy. Shut up already. Just shut up. Anyway, can't wait for more hockey news. Well, there will be some tomorrow.
We should sit next.
Jerk
off his show. You could sit there when he starts saying something about his weight or something like that.
That nobody cares about.
You'd be like, "Oh, Jimmy, you gained another pound on your diet."
As the crickets here.
Are you trying to gain weight on this diet, Jimmy?
That defeats the purpose. Anyway, there is another game, and it's the first game of the Philadelphia-Miami series. That kicks off tonight as well, or tips off tonight as well. And whatchamacallit, I'm just going to bring that up because we have a spread there. 208, a little bit of a lower number. That's 7 points there. But what is that? 3?
7.5.
7.5? The fuck? I'm taking both dogs tonight.
So are you aware that Joel Embiid is out indefinitely with a broken
taking the
orbital?
Heat tonight?
Yeah, so definitely not taking the Sixers in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
the Embiid is their only chance because they are gonna. James Harden is gonna have his hands full. He might just be like, you know what? Halftime, he might stop playing.
He might. Going back to the comments here, Scoop is up 22. I do want to address one thing. Joe LaCorey asked if we were watching Winning Time. I know I am. I don't know about you.
Yes.
Oh, dude, what a show! What an absolute banger of a show.
Another thing that we're going to probably talk about on the Jimmy Show today, which is definitely a good topic to talk about.
Yeah, no, great show. I love it. It's very, dude. What's his face? Kills it. First of all, the guy. What's the
John C. Reilly?
Well, John C. Reilly's doing amazing things. Yeah, no, he's
Pat
doing.
Riley.
The guy playing Pat Riley.
Adrian Brody.
Killing it, bro. Killing it.
Star-studded cast.
It really is. And it again, great show. You would assume that they get a second season. Maybe. I don't know. Like they got a long way to go. If they want to carry this,
I don't know.
can.
I feel like they're going to get sued by a bunch of people after season 1. Jerry
West, one of them,
trying to get them to take the show down and I don't even know how you would be able to retract what you said. It's a fucking TV show.
I think I'm one show behind, but like I've not seen anything too demeaning about Jerry West outside the fact that he's, you know, a little bit of a loose cannon, but like I'm not out there like, oh, I'm going to sue you. You made me look like shit. Like,
so
I don't know.
But they made him out to look like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And
as the head coach
and the GM, he was a great GM. They're making it seem like he didn't want to draft Magic Johnson. Like that's the entire legacy of the Lakers.
Right? I found it fascinating.
Not the entire, but you get what I'm saying. Like that was huge for what was going on at the time. For them to say that he didn't want Magic Johnson, when if that's not true, I would be like, I don't want people thinking that.
I think the best part, or one of the best parts of the series so far, is Magic Johnson choosing between Converse, Adidas, and Nike like being that small scale, like, hey man, I'll put your name on the shoe, and he's like, yeah, that's great. And then he asked Converse, hey, could you put the name on the shoe? And they're like, no, I don't know. But then at that point, I was like, oh, he's gonna sign with Nike. That's cool. And he never did. And then they found the guy named Michael Jordan, and the rest is history. Can you imagine if it was Johnson's instead of Jordan's, you know, for going forward?
It would have. I don't think that Magic Johnson
or Magic's. Yeah, Johnson's would be a little weird.
If Magic Johnson would have signed with Nike at the time, I don't think that Michael Jordan would have come along and they would have been like, no, we got our guy. Like they would have done the same exact thing with Jordan.
I think it's because Jordan was like the exclusive dude that became the brand.
Years later, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like they kept pushing this little small peanuts. Phil Knight, is it the owner of Nike? Whatever. He comes up. He doesn't have a business like the rest of these guys got these like slideshow presentations for Magic Johnson. This guy's just approaching him like, yo, man, I made you a shoe. Do you like it? You know, Magic Johnson's like, well, whatever.
Is Ken Pullman coming in like 20 minutes later asking my father if he's celebrating the Royals win? And yes.
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna get into that right now.
You know what we shouldn't do? Actually, we shouldn't want our team to win.
I know. What a silly concept. Come on, silly concept. We are 1 month deep into the season of baseball, in which everybody thought that there wasn't going to be any baseball. We're already a month in, and both New York teams are absolutely crushing it right now. We are 1 month in. The Yankees 16-6, the best record in baseball. I'm not just making that up. Not some tongue in cheek. That's just literally me saying they have statistically the best record in baseball. Right behind by a half a game with one more loss. I guess they suck. The Mets are 16-7. However, they've won all of their series. They've won them all. So kudos to them for winning series. There's a lot of pros and cons to both of these teams. I would say if you're looking at the Yankees first, what are you smiling at? What?
Just Ken's response.
Oh, Yankees hate. Oh, he was just responding. I totally get it. The Yankees, obviously, yes, you beat up the teams that are bad on your schedule, so that's what you're going to do. You need these wins. These wins will add up towards the end of the year. Trust me when I tell you this. If they're within a game or two of the Blue Jays, or the Blue Jays are back to, you're going to look back and be like, well, thank God we took care of business against the fucking Royals. Yeah,
2 weeks
in April.
ago. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the Yankees finishing in fourth, and this was like before the season started. I just don't believe in their roster entirely. I still kind of don't, but they're playing well and they're beating teams that they should be beating, and they haven't lost in about a week and a half. So of course I'm excited about it. It's better than losing extra inning game to the Orioles and then having the entire world coming down on you thinking that the season is over April 10th.
Yeah. So obviously we're talking about the Yankees real quick. Rizzo has been a delight, 9 homers, having himself a little bit of a good start there. The bullpen looks great. Nestor Cortez is probably the story of that pitching staff right now. He's continuing what he started last year.
Well, he's the feel-good story of the pitching staff. The real story is still Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole is turning it around a little bit.
But look, we got to see some I want to see a solid 2 months out of Garrett Cole.
He's dropped. Listen, he was 0-0. He was 0-0 for the first 3 starts that he had. No wins, no losses. And now he's 2-0 with a 3 ERA flat. He had a 4 ERA last week. So he dropped it a whole run, in his runs average. So he's doing all right. I do dig the guy batting 303, ladies and gents, and that's IKF. I call him the waffle, even though it has nothing to do with anything. I'm just calling him waffle. My boy Tommy sends me waffle emojis every time he does something. But falafel. Isaiah is doing very well, and the Yankees are doing very well. Their cons, I would say, in the beginning of the season, Josh Donaldson needs to get going a little bit. Gallo looks like he can't hit water if he fell off a boat. You know what I'm saying? And Chapman, I mentioned this about Chapman of being a headache, right? But Chapman has a 0 ERA. He's let up no runs. And the more I look at it, the more it's just like a frustrating thing when he's missing his spots, but he hasn't given up any runs, which again is clutch.
Yeah,
obviously.
I don't know. People just
6 saves
people
out of
grow to
11.
expect something different out of a closer because we've had Mariano. Chapman's a solid closer. He's been.
The Yankees only have 6 losses as a team, and Clark Schmidt has 2 of them, and I believe he was sent down yesterday. So him and Andujar, back to the minors. We'll see what happens there. But as far as the Mets are concerned, dude, their offense has turned it up a lot. The fine little player in Francisco Lindor is batting .281 with 4 homers. So he's added the long ball to his game. I mean, he's always been a decent home run hitter. Jeff McNeil, bro, he's batting .361. So he's one of the top batters in baseball right now. Eduardo Escobar, 8 doubles in the month of April. So that dude is raking right now.
About my boy from the Angels, Taylor Ward.
Who's that?
They don't have him on the list because I think
I wrote these down. These are my write downs.
Yeah, but you look at the batting averages, right?
Yeah.
Is anyone else dealing with bullshit with ESPN right now? Can't even fucking look.
Disney. But anyway, so then, yeah, obviously the story of their pitching staff, no DeGrom, no problem right now. I don't know how much that's going to kind of, how long that's going to last. But right now they're weathering that storm. Max Scherzer, lights out. The guy hasn't lost in like a year and a half, by the way. He's been in
396. I guess he doesn't qualify.
Well, he might not qualify because of the at-bats. Yeah, maybe the game's played.
He's got like 6 home runs.
Well, anyway, no, he doesn't. You talk about the Mets?
If fucking ESPN's app would work, then I would go to it.
It's not the Mets. The Mets home run leader is 4 with Lindor.
No,
so
it's not the Mets.
Okay. We'll get into the rest of the league in a second. Scherzer 4-0, 2.61 ERA, 31 innings pitched. So the guy's pretty durable. I would say the cons right now, you want to get Starling Marte going.
Still just doing the Mets. I thought you were going through leaders.
I'm gonna do leaders in a second. Marte batting 225. You want him to get, but he had a great catch last night. Good defensive guy. Trevor Williams, I guess, is the one guy that people are starting to want to throw into the East River. 0-2 with a 9.82 ERA in the month of April. So he's the one guy that they're probably saying, enough's enough. Please stop this shit. But overall, 16 and 6 and 16 and 7, the Yankees and the Mets, respectively, being the top of their leagues. How long that lasts? I mean, I don't know. I would assume that if I had to make an educated guess on the rest of the year, I would say the Mets have a better chance of sustaining this because they might get DeGrom back and Scherzer's pitching out of his mind. You never have to worry about
Aaron Boone.
And Aaron Boone's probably going to make a couple decisions that you want to scratch your head and blow your head off. So I would assume that the Mets have a little bit of a better chance to sustain top rank. But the Yankees, winners of 9 straight, are still only like a game and a half up on the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays are like 7-3 in their last 10. The Yankees are 9-1.
Way too
the Blue Jays are playing good baseball
at this point. The Blue Jays are as good as anybody.
They are
over the last
they
5
are.
years.
They've been built that way, and I feel like that's going to stay that way.
Their issue has always been pitching. Now they got great pitching.
Right. Around the league, as far as some stories that you want to keep your eye on, the average leader through April is Eric Hosmer batting .382 right now, and he's played enough games.
That's where I have an issue because
for
some reason it's not letting me pull up. But I know there's guys that are batting better than .382.
Well, like I said, I think it's a qualifying type deal with the amount of at bats. Anybody who bats 10 times and has 4 hits is batting .400.
I want to know what do you have to like at this point? What's the qualifying it? There's got to be some type of criteria.
Well, you know what?
The season. Because I would imagine that this guy should qualify because he's been pretty. He's like the top points getter in fantasy baseball.
Well, I don't know. Fantasy baseball is always the criteria. You know what I'm saying? Like
just because it's like if you have the most points, then you have to. It's only been 3 weeks of the season, so if you've played in half the games, you should qualify.
Right. I'm looking it up now with the stats, MLB.com. Here we go. So if I hit average and it brings it up, 382, Eric Hosmer is the number 1 guy. Who's your guy you were talking about?
Taylor Ward.
I don't see him anywhere on here. So maybe, like I said, maybe he's got the less at bats or whatever. But 382 seems to be the league average right now. The leading average is Eric Hosmer, 382. The home runs is our boy Riz with 9. I think he's by himself in that category. I'm looking right now. 8, CJ Cron. Aaron Judge has 8, and he hit another 2 yesterday. So if Rizzo and Judge and then Stanton gets hot, you don't want this Yankee offense to get hot because, and when I say get hot, I think they already got hot.
He's batting .400 with 55 at-bats, 22 hits, 5 home runs.
55 at-bats?
Yeah, 16 runs scored, 13
Cesar Hernandez has 103 at-bats. So that's where it is. He's
sense,
half the at-bats. So Cesar Hernandez with that. And with all those at-bats, he's batting 272. So Hernandez is having himself a nice little start. The RBI leader, Jose Ramirez with 28. Pitching wins, obviously, that's there's 4. I mean, there's a bunch of guys with 4 wins, so they've cleaned up in April, one of them being Max Scherzer. The ERA, Pablo Lopez with a .039 ERA, so he's doing wonderful. And Jordan Romano with the saves lead right now. So does anything actually kind of stick out glaring to what we're seeing right now? The one thing I definitely needed to bring up is the fact that the Cincinnati Reds, it's a very, very tough start for them as they are 3-19. I don't know what you do over there. I don't know how you fix that. Do you look at a 3-19 season and say, like, it's over already?
No, it's baseball.
There's 16 games under 500.
It's a baseball season.
I know
they're not going to be a playoff team.
Oh, that's
almost a guarantee. Yeah. But still, it just doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them anytime soon, because the reasons why they're not playing well is their pitching is not living up to expectations. They don't have a good lineup. So it's not like all of a sudden you're going to get collectively this team to start playing a lot better.
They've given up 132 runs and only scored 67. They're getting mauled.
It's too early in 22 games into a baseball season for me to say it's over. It's like the equivalent of going like 1-2. Not a great start, but your season's not over in football.
You cannot say 3-19 is 1-2 in football.
Well, 10 games equals 1 in football. So if there's 162 games and now we're talking 17, I've always done that math. So it actually is that.
It doesn't feel like that, I guess. It doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like that, but it's the point being is you win 5 out of 7 for the next 3 weeks. All of a sudden your record is not so bad. You're like almost 500.
So, but again, can you sustain that for 3 weeks? Who knows?
No,
Ibby's coming in. Save Joey Votto. Yeah, man, I feel bad. I feel bad for Joey Votto right now. You do not want to see his career wilter away with a team that's just not competing. And I don't know how early they would pull a trigger in a trade or something like that for a Joey Votto. I'd take him in a heartbeat. I love Joey Votto. But again,
so more so than the stats and things like that, my takeaway from the first part of this season is that baseball is very different. It's a very different game overnight. Right. So the changes that they've made, they've had an immediate impact. I don't know if it's the hitters that are benefiting or the pitchers that are benefiting, but it's different. Right. Some pitchers hate it. Some pitchers like to move fast, but you hear a lot of.
You said you went to a game that was like, you felt like it was a blink.
Games are over very fast. It's like 2 hours. And I got there in the second inning, and before I looked up and it was the 5th, I was like, holy shit, the games are going a lot faster.
Can't go to the bathroom anymore, folks.
It's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. That's been the problem for a long time. But there's a few other things about like the pace of play that I think that they should give some of these guys. When there's a runner on base, it's fucking up. It's almost impossible to hold runners. I think stolen bases are up throughout the league this year. Julio Rodriguez has 9. It's about,
curious to see
last
where
year.
that's at.
I'm not sure if there was even 2 guys in all of baseball that had 10 in the first half. That's how low steals have been over the past couple of years. I could be wrong, but I just know it. Teams don't typically run. You're seeing a little bit more of that because of the inability to hold a runner. Pitchers don't like the game clock, but if I'm a batter, I wouldn't like it either. Right? Like you get a called strike against you, or are they just doing this in minors? I saw a game where the batter took a step out of the box and they called a strike. I'm like, am I watching fucking Banana Ball? I thought I was watching this Savannah Bananas because that's what they were talking about, where if you step out, it's a strike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I actually talk. I mean, not that they're going to respond, but with Trevor Bauer situation, which by the way we didn't even talk about really. Trevor Bauer getting suspended for 2 years worth of baseball games. That one's gonna go to appeals. I don't know, like what's the best that can happen? It's a year off, I guess. Maybe.
I think if anything, and they were smart when they doled out the suspension. They said starting now.
Yeah, I was good. None of the missed time right now even counts
because they know that they're probably going to be able to appeal. They'll drop the appeal down to a year. But how about this? Trevor Bauer won't ever pitch baseball again because no team is going to be willing to take the chance. It's not like the NFL.
What chance? What are we talking about here? Look, like there's no wear and tear on his arm for 2 years.
Look, when I say take the chance, I'm saying court of public opinion, the optics of it. Trevor Bauer, if he was to shut the fuck up for the next year, 2 years, or if he was not saying anything, or the past 6 months when they found, or however long it was it 2 months where they released that they weren't going to find charges or they weren't going to bring him up on charges. from that point, if he would have just kind of taken a back seat and shut his mouth, but he's putting himself at the forefront of every situation possible, and he's making as much noise as possible.
He's not very likable.
He's not likable. Teams didn't like him to begin with. The Mets and the Dodgers were the only real two. Talk about it, dodging a bullet. The Mets were.
Remember that
so
report?
upset.
Was it Nightingale who reported that they signed him? Like, this is the greatest dodged bullet of all time with this kid, and it's unfortunate because I'm not about to go into the optics of it and make myself feel like I'm insensitive to what had happened. But again, this is the same thing that I've been referring to in all leagues: NFL, NHL, NBA, whatever. They are not the judge, jury, and executioner. They're not the law. And they got to stop treating it like they are.
Look, I drafted Trevor Bauer. I was okay with
Trevor Bauer
on the Dodgers this year.
He was clearly not liked by Rob Manfred. They've gone back and forth. Like, this all actually happened, and Bauer wasn't liked, right? And that was so apparent that when they dropped the charges and nothing was going to happen to this kid criminally, Manfred almost said, okay, watch this. You know, it was almost like a personal, hey, by the way, we're suspending you for 2 fucking years. That's insane to me. Where the guy that was not even charged with anything, and I'm not saying like, oh, he gave him hush money or, oh, they paid him off the victims. And again, I'm not trying to be insensitive to the victims or anybody that was involved in this shit, but let's call it how it is, man. He's not in trouble with the law. He's in trouble with Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But look, it's
touchy. I know.
This is a touchy situation because MLB doesn't have to find. It's not the same. Like the law, in court, you could be like, look, I know you're a piece of shit, and I know you did this 20 different times, but because we don't have the evidence to prosecute you, even though it's common knowledge and a known thing, like under the law, they can't prosecute him. But it doesn't mean that the judge isn't like, dude, we know you're a scumbag, but legally, that's what lawyers are for. They find loopholes in all this shit. Major League Baseball doesn't have that. They look at the optics of it and they say, well, there's 20 people that are talking crazy. Now, you could have
so why hasn't the NFL done that with Deshaun Watson?
Because maybe the situation is very, very different.
I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing in regards to not being charged, blah, 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 right? And Goodell has this image to uphold for the NFL.
And also, maybe the NFL does.
I've been saying that.
Maybe the NFL does. It's not that they haven't. They have a history of doing things just like that. But much like the NFL and much like this case, Trevor Bauer is going to appeal. And the reason why I think they levied such a big suspension in this case is because I think that they will reduce the suspension to a half of what they've given it. And because if they did that, then they would have probably been able to say time served, just pay this money and you'll be able to play.
Right.
In this case, he'll probably get it reduced to 1 year, but they won't allow him to do the time served. They'll just wipe that away.
Yeah, I don't know. Again,
we'll see.
I'm not an expert. I'm also not a judge. I can't make those calls. I can't sit there and say like, oh, well, you know, this happened, blah, blah, blah. And
the Dodgers have to want him. A team has to want him.
Correct. And you know what? There always is a team. The Cleveland Browns wanted Deshaun Watson after all the bullshit, right? Teams do want these people, all right? Even the Philadelphia Eagles took a chance on Mike Vick after he murdered dogs. So, like, trust me when I tell you, there are always teams that are looking to get better. And if you add a Trevor Bauer to a pitching staff, they're better.
Yeah, but I'm not looking to get Trevor Bauer better at $41 million. So if I could get out of that,
he's never gonna listen. He's never gonna make that money again. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, for him to be kicked out of baseball and basically never play again. And never be charged. It's almost as if like, man, what did I do all this work for to clear my name when my name is not cleared? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's to me, that's rough. And I'm not like, look, I'm not sympathizing with the guy. He's made plenty of money. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh man,
he's made
all that money.
Made some poor choices.
He's made some shitty choices. He's linked up with some serious people that are out to get him or whatever the case. It's rough. The whole thing is rough. I don't like it. I don't like how the MLB
want him on the Yankees at this point.
Huh?
I wouldn't want him on the Yankees.
I mean, right now you don't really need him on the Yankees. The Yankees are 16-6.
The Yankees need a pitcher like Trevor Bauer. They just don't need him because he's a fucking loser.
Right now, they don't need him. Correct. But in a year, if they say time served plus the rest of this year, you can come back next year. I'm taking a flyer. He's a good pitcher. You know, and again, if that paints me out to be some kind of insensitive piece of garbage, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to tell you that every team in every sport does this. They do their due diligence to make sure the guy doesn't get locked up again, and then all of a sudden they're a viable option and they're signed. The Cleveland Browns gave Houston everything for Deshaun Watson. And then on top of that, hey, Mr. Watson, you're also going to get the most guaranteed money the NFL has ever divvied out, even though there's still a couple civil suits against you. That's what I'm saying. Like, Bauer situation sucks, but let's call it how it is. The girls, it was rough, literally and figuratively.
Yo, you
whatever.
You forgot Domingo Herman. You have to throw him in there. He'll bridge the gap. So it's Bauer to Herman to Chapman. And I know that he's making just like jokes about the Yankees legal troubles with.
That's fine. Chapman, I mean, look, and I'm not saying that it was a good look for the Cowboys, but the Cowboys took a chance on a guy like Greg Hardy, and he was the biggest piece of shit in the world. He lasted for about a cup of coffee, and it's like, fuck you, out. But they did it because they did it in a pass rush. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know, like I said, rough stuff to do.
Scoop sitting there like, when did butt stuff become a felony? Because he's going to jail.
Because I guess I'd be arrested for 4 years. Sick bastard. Anyway, this has been another show. Obviously,
I'm like all the way up here, nasally.
Oh, all right. Go blow your nose.
Ready to go handle my business.
All right, go blow your nose. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on a Monday. Start your week off with Chop Sports. If you didn't catch the entire show, be sure to get back, hit the play button, replay this bad boy. And today, your homework assignment, ladies and gentlemen, is to not only like the video, but to share this video. Tell your friends this is who you watch at 11 o'clock every day. Hey, if you say some comments, they'll bring you on. You can call in. You can do all this other shit that we provide, and we pride ourselves on being a more interactive sports show. Or you can call the fan and stay on hold for, 45 minutes and not be able to talk sports when you want to talk sports. If you want to talk sports, come chop it up with us. For Sturch and Gooch and nobody producing, because we did a great job by ourselves, we'll be back here today live. If you want to check out some pro wrestling talk, it'll be myself, Tommy D, Wrestling Rob, talking pro wrestling, just the three of us. We'll do that later on. And of course, look for the new podcast that drop on our network today, a New Jersey Boys, tomorrow, a new Jimmy Palumbo, and obviously the Mets, the Jets, the soccer guys, everybody. There's a big number coming. I could feel it. There's going to be a big little hike as sports are literally all taking over right now, which is a great thing for us. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Later.
Yeah, the Yankees are covering every single spread too.
To win some money.
-1.5, -1.5, -1.